So React is nothing but a library. It's not a framework. So what is the interesting part here? As it's a library, we can modify any piece of code, or we have the full access control over the library. Whatever we want, we can make it. For an example, the most popular sites using React nowadays, that the Netflix one, you can consider Netflix. So it's basically a streaming platform. They can also make the platform using other libraries or other frameworks, but they choose React. Why? Not only React, they have created the site using some sort of frameworks. So with advanced topic, I will share some knowledge about the frameworks over the React and the latest tech stacks also. So why they pick this one? Because they need to provide, or they need to implement a lot of custom things inside their application, and framework has some limitations. So what is framework? Framework is a collection of classes. Means some group of developers will build a product which will be a framework. They have certain limitations, they have certain access control, and you cannot make anything custom inside a framework. But in React, as it's a library, you can make it by your own. Means you can make your own renderer. Means whatever you can see inside the screen, your display, you can make your own renderer. So a lot of companies are there, those who are actually working for their own custom product, and they are continuously upgrading their renderer or their custom code with the help of React. So I would like to share my screen first, then it will be easy to. So we were in the topic with React, and now I have described why React, or what is React. So what we can do with it. Now the most important thing is there that only knowing the terminology or only knowing the framework or the library name is not actually the requirement. The requirement is what you need basically to learn this, or to write the simple code using React. What are the prerequisites, you can say? So the main interesting prerequisite is JavaScript. If you don't know JavaScript, then it's impossible to write code in React. And you need to know little bit of concepts using JavaScript. Means what are those? You can consider in your college life, you will see that document.getElement by ID and all that. So this is obviously a JavaScript, but this is not required inside React, because whenever you want to write some piece of code with components, I will obviously come with this topic component later, with component, or if you want to make some function, then you need some sort of knowledge. So the basic prerequisite is what is promise, what is callback, what is asynchronous, it means what is async and await and all that. And you can actually see a lot of examples there inside the code base. Okay. And the next topic was what is virtual DOM. So the concept of DOM and the virtual DOM. I'm just going through the simple theoretical steps. Anyone? Anyone want to say anything?
না কি করব বলেন, এত বলে বলে আপনিও বলে বলে বিরক্ত হয়ে গেছেন, আমরাও বলে বলে বিরক্ত হয়ে গেছি।
Anyone want to say anything?
এখন এইবার বুঝতে পারছেন না, আর বুঝে কি হবে? ওর বাবা কথা বলতে করছে, বকলোকে আমি বললাম দেখ তোর নিজের পায়ে নিজে নিজেই কুড়ুল মারিস, কারোর কথা শুনিস না, নিজে খুব
you can see my screen now, right?
এখন তো আর কিছু হবে না।
Okay, so we were in the concept of DOM. So what is DOM? DOM is basically.
So that doesn't mean that you are not going to do anything. Your action runs this. No, not every time.
এত মানা করেছি, এত
Last time I understand, this time I can't. There is no reason.
সবাই পারতো তাহলে স্ট্যাম্প নিত না, বুঝেছিস? কেউ বললো, আমি বললাম, আর তার আগেও কত মানা করলাম, আর বললাম একদম মাথায় না তুমি
voices are there, whoever is talking, please switch off your mic that it will be easy to.
এবার কি ওর আর কি হবে?
Kindly mute. You can mute the person.
Okay, so we were in the concept of DOM. So what is basically a DOM is, it's a document object model. So you can consider the document object model like this way. Rather than practical, it will be theoretical. So theory is, in any website or in any browsing session or in even in Google as well, what you can do, you can click over the inspect element. Yeah. So you can see this particular element tab. So what is this element is? This is basically a DOM. So DOM contains some structure of HTML. So HTML tag will be there. It will be a wrapper. Inside HTML, you can see the head, and after that you can see the body. So body is the container where all the HTML files will be included. Now the interesting thing is, whenever you initialize any website, what is happening behind the scene? It's important to understand. Otherwise, you can't understand the virtual DOM concept. So whenever you initialize any website, first of all, the skeleton means the HTML will be loaded first, and after that the CSS will be loaded. Then only you can see a proper good looking screen. Otherwise, the structure of HTML looks like it's a skeleton. Okay. So then CSS will be loaded. After that, the JS will be loaded. There are main three steps will happen one after another. So the JS will enable the script, whatever the scripts are available for that particular site. So for the Google homepage or for the Google search engine page, you can see there is a body, and inside the body you can see the iframe. So the concept of iframe is a little bit different. I'm not going to share every details with the DOM. And here you can see it's a component, their component, not mine. So basically they are injecting some sort of style inside the page. And here you can see that it's a script tag. So this particular script tag contains some scripts already. And these are the links tag. Links means importing some sort of CSS inside the page. So this is the structure of the DOM, basic structure of a DOM. Now, the question is very common, that what is then virtual DOM? Virtual DOM is only, you can say, it's a replica of a real DOM. So inside the web, DOM calculation or DOM mutation is a very costly job or costly operation. Why React is popular nowadays? The concept of virtual DOM is there. So what will happen when you will write some piece of code and you want to render the code inside the browser? Then obviously some sort of HTML will print there, and related CSS will be also there. Then if you want to do something interactive thing, means if you want to interact with your application or any specific area of the application, then what will happen? You need to update your code, then only user can see the reflection on runtime. So when you want to update the code, the virtual DOM comes into the picture. So what will happen then? Your real DOM will not get updated. Whenever you want to update something, that specific update will go to the React ecosystem. React ecosystem has a lot of algorithms. They will calculate their complexity and what are the exact changes happened already inside the nodes. You can consider the HTML will be printed as a tree. So tree will have a lot of nodes. Suppose the HTML will be the tree head, then head, body, inside the body you will have a div, you will have a paragraph tag, you will have a span tag. Those are the children's. So these are the nodes for the specific tree. So React will actually traverse the tree. What specific node has a change? React, what virtual DOM will do here, that specific node will get updated with the real DOM. So the entire DOM will not get updated. This is the benefit for using React. So the operation is costly. So the cost cutting technique is here. Updating the specific area of a code, which will be interactive area, using virtual DOM. Now came to the concept of React ecosystem. So the virtual DOM concept is theoretically very, it's not very much clear, I know, but when we will do some code there, then you can understand that, yeah, this is actually happening inside the browser. And this is the last topic with the theory session, that what is React ecosystem. So React ecosystem means what are the tools are necessary to run a React application, bare minimum React application. So the tools are Node.js. Node.js is basically a runtime. So here is the site, official site for Node.js. Always go to the Node.js website, and I'm just need to clear the console first. Okay. Now you need to come to the official website for Node.js. You will get two type of versions. So here 18.16.0, it's a LTS version. So LTS means long-term support for the specific version. Node is basically an open source environment. So here a lot of open source developers are continuously working and dedicating their code to the World Wide Web. So they committed that this particular version will get updated by them or the group of developers. And this is the current version where Node developers are developing their application day after day. So you just need to pick the LTS version whenever you want to install the Node environment in your system. So I already have the Node environment, so that's why I'm not going to install it. Let me show you that I have the Node environment. So in order to test whether you have Node installed or not, you can simply type node-v. -v means version. It's a normal command. So I have 16.15.1 because I'm working with some sort of legacy project. Legacy project means those who whatever the projects built 5 or 6 years earlier, and that particular time we don't have this particular update. So that's why I just need to downgrade my Node version little bit so that I can continue working with the projects. So my version is 16. So I am okay to run the React ecosystem in my machine. Node is the requirement. Apart from this, you need to install npm globally. Nowadays, you don't need to install as well because okay. Let me show you the npm version. npm-v. So what is npm? Yeah, npm is basically Node package manager. In open source world, whatever we are doing with the React or Redux or Node, whatever, we need to use the npm or yarn. So npm is open source community. They are basically working with lot of packages. It's basically package manager. Yeah, it's a package manager. They have official website. They have a lot of packages. Even also, if you search for React, it's also published inside npm. So using npm, you need to download it. Otherwise, there is no option. Or one option is already there, that the yarn. Yarn is maintained by Facebook, and it's also a package manager, and it has some differences with npm. Obviously, I'm not going to deep dive into the yarn topic. So as we are going to use npm here, you can see that React, it's basically a package published inside npm, and we are going to use this particular React through npm. So React needs the ecosystem. You need to install the npm in your machine globally, and you need to install Node in your machine globally. Then you can install your React project. So it is time taking to install a React project, but still it will be better to show you how you can actually install one project inside your application or inside your machine. So here I'm doing I need to create a folder first. Inside the folder, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to install one React project. Simple. So this is my shortcut for opening the command prompt. So the basic command to install a React project is basically npx. So there are two differences between npm and npx. npm is Node package manager, obviously, but npx is Node package executor. Whenever you will use npx command, it will download the latest publication, whatever the package maintainer uploaded in their site or in their section. You will get the latest one. So you can see inside the npm, React is only the package. but it's not enough to run a React application. There are a lot of things are already there. So it will be better to first install one React project, then you can understand what are the prerequisites and what are the essential tools you need to use for a React project. So npx create React app. It's a command. Npx will be the executor. Create React app will be the command, and you can name your app. Suppose my app, or it will be better. It's a webinar app. What it will do, it will first download all the necessary packages and bundles from the web. So here, some little bit of theory is there. Means what will be the bundle, what is the bundle, why we need to install the bundle, and why we need to install all the dependencies to run a React project. Because as you all know that React is a library, it's not a framework. That's why everything is not there inside the library. You need to install or you need to bundle everything to make the ecosystem. So Facebook team did a great job that they created this particular package, Create React App, and it's official by Facebook. So Create React App, just a minute. This one. It's basically a project. So the project is, they will try to bundle everything and the entire ecosystem in their project, and you just need to clone it using Git. So I'm not using Git here. I'm just trying to install the project with the command, with the help of command, and that command is already published inside npx. So they have created a great job. This particular repo, it's a GitHub, and inside the GitHub, we can see that a lot of codes are there. It's basically a Create React App project. This project is maintained by Facebook team of developers. They are continuously working over it. So it will help you to bundle your entire application. Behind the scene, Webpack is working. So now the question is that what is Webpack? These are the internal details for the entire React ecosystem, and it's huge. If I start talking about the Webpack thing, then it will be a never-ending process. In a short, Webpack is basically a bundler which will help you to bundle all your JS code and all your environment inside a specific wrapper, and you cannot see this one. It's encapsulated, means it's completely hidden inside your application as well. So you just need to write your own code, and you just need to get the out. There are two types of programmings are there: imperative programming and declarative programming. So there is a nice difference between imperative and declarative programming. Imperative is basically, suppose you want to eat pizza, then in front of a chef, you want to share every knowledge how to make the pizza, make the base, then put the toppings and put the cheese and all that. So this is called imperative programming. You need to give entire input to the user or to the machine, then the program will execute. And the declarative programming means the environment is ready, means you just go to the Domino's or the Pizza Hut, then order one pizza, then you will get it. It's basically a declarative programming example. It's a nice example. So this ecosystem or React ecosystem, you can consider that it's a declarative programming. Okay. So in the meantime, we have already installed our React application. As you can see that this particular was the command, and we have already installed every packages or every dependencies. Now we are able to start this particular project. So to start the project, what we will do here, we just need to go there inside the application. Okay, before that, it will be better. Do you have any question, any of you, for the theory session, or for you just need any clarification over the discussion? Any of you? If you have, then we can exchange our thought or exchange our knowledge, and after that we can proceed with the next session. So better that we can see inside the folder structure here. So inside the folder structure, you can see the entire ecosystem is there. The Git means the version control system, GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, whatever you can consider. Git is a concept. GitHub is not similar like Git. It's a version control tool, and every tool has a specific company. Like Microsoft owns GitHub, Bitbucket, Atlassian company owns Bitbucket. So every ecosystem is different. So this is the file for .git, and we just need to ignore it. And here is the file called node modules. So what is node module here? So I have seen that npm package, npm node package manager. I have already seen that whatever the dependencies for a specific project or specific file we have, all the dependencies are available inside your local node modules. So this one is the folder where you will get every dependent packages. So for an example, for React, if you want to search here for React, then you will get it something. Or if you want to search for Babel, then you will get it something. Means see, yeah, see, Babel, it's a transpiler, internals of Webpack. I'm not going to share you the details for Babel, but I just want to show you all the details. All the modules are already available in your local system, so that whenever you will write some code using any package or using any with the help of any library, then that particular support is available in your local system. That is why node module folder is there, and it's highly related with the package.json file. So first, try to understand the structure of an application, how it will work. So let me open my VS Code. So we were in the topic for the folder structure. What will be the folder structure and all that. So node modules, I have explained already. What is package.json file? So package.json is the important file for your React ecosystem. It will contain a lot of metadata or the meta information for your application. So the meta informations are a lot of things are there. You just need to concentrate over the dependencies object. So it's a dependency. So what does it mean basically? It means to run your project, you need to install these particular folders or these particular packages. Otherwise, you are not able to access your application or not able to run your application. So just leave these particular 3 topics. Means these are the testing libraries. So testing is a different topic. Means topic means it's related to the development thing, but it's far from the development. Means first you need to understand how you can write code in React, then only you can build the system, and after that you can write your own test cases. So a lot of test case things are there. Means unit testing, integration testing. So these are the other concepts. Here you can see that your main dependency is React DOM, and React script. So this particular React script is nothing but the create React tab package. They are basically encapsulating their own internal logic from the developer. So there is a hack. You can see all the Webpack files, and this is the script file. Means the script commands. Inside the script command, you can see the start script, the build. Build means if you want to upload it inside the web server, then only you need to run this particular command. Then your file will get a bundle, and you can upload the bundle inside the web server, and the code will run. So you can see the special thing here, eject. You can try with it. Eject. Eject means your entire Webpack configuration. You can see after ejecting, after running any eject command, you can see all the Webpack configuration files one after another, and you can see what are the internal details for the create React tab, how they made create React tab, and how the ecosystem is running behind the scene. So as I have already said that we are focusing over the declarative programming, not the imperative programming. So we just need to go through with the file structure. Here package.json, inside the package.json, two objects are very useful for us, at least for now, that the dependency object and one is the script object. Inside the dependency, you can see whatever the packages you need to run an application, and the script means how you will run your application with the code editor. And a lot of other things are there, is not required for now at least. Okay. Now you can see that you will have public folder, src folder, and .gitignore is basically a file where you can write your specific folders, those you don't want to upload inside the GitHub. GitHub means this thing. This is a GitHub profile, and inside GitHub I can upload all of my code, but whatever the code I will write inside gitignore, they will not get updated inside the GitHub. So it's a system file. And then public folder is there. Public means basically static assets. Suppose your image files or your HTML file, this will be there. So now the interesting topic will come, that what is React, and the main cause of using React is basically it's a client side application and it's a SPA. SPA means single page application. So single page application fundamental is very different. Different means single page application means you have a single HTML file in your application, in your entire application. So the single HTML file is here. Plain and simple single HTML file. This one. Inside the file, you can see the skeleton, as we have already seen inside the DOM lecture, that this particular skeleton will be there, and inside the body, whatever you will write inside the body, you can see inside the skeleton. And here, inside body, you can see a single div, and the div contains an ID root, which is enough for us to run a React application. And other elements are not there. You cannot see any sort of HTML. So with respect to single page application, there will be a single HTML file, and that particular file is responsible to run your entire application. What we will do with React, we will inject JavaScript file in the form of script. So script will inject all the files here, and you can see the changes inside the browser. Okay, so this is the public folder, and inside public folder index.html is only the necessary file for you to understand that where is my HTML for my application. So this is the HTML. Okay. Now the most important folder is src folder. Src is basically a source folder. The abbreviation is src, but the meaning is source. So this particular folder will contain all the important files. So the first important file is app.js. App.js means this is the entry point of the React application. Now a lot of concepts will come. The concepts are component, how the component will look like, what are the concept of component and all that. And the interesting file is that index.js. Why index.js? So this particular file is nothing but it will embed your main component inside it. Means this is the file who is responsible to inject the script inside the ID root inside your HTML page. So this is your HTML page, and there is a only div inside your page, and this index.js file is only responsible to inject all of your component into the HTML. Okay. Now we just need to come to the app.js file. So what it will look like? It's a component. Okay. Let me first run the application. Then only it will be easy to make you understand that what is a component. Wait a minute. So to run the application, the command is very simple, which is npm start. I already said that npm is node package manager, And whatever the scripts inside package.json file you have seen, that start, build, test, eject, these are the name of the scripts. So if you want to run the scripts, then you need to use npm command. Npm then start, or npm then build, or npm then test, or npm then eject. Whatever the script you want to run, you can play with it. So in my case, I just want to start my application, then I will simply enter the npm start command, and it will start my project. You can see that the name of my project is webinar app, and it is responsible, means a React script is responsible to start my project. So this is the internal command for the Webpack and the Create React app community. They have created it based on their requirement. So using this command, you can run your local development server, or you can run your application. So by default, Create React app creates the port 3000 for you to run the application inside your browser. Now you can see this is your application which is rendering currently. What I need to do in order to make you better understand the code base, I'm just going to delete all the things from the file. So it will be a blank file, and I just need to write something like hello users. Okay. Okay. As I am trying to save my file, I have already installed the prettier extension for my VS Code. So whenever I will save any file, then it will automatically formatted. It will get formatted. Basically, I have the extension like prettier. You guys also need. You guys also can install the prettier extension from here. So in VS Code, this is the tab, and inside this icon, you can search for prettier. This one, code formatter. Sorry, code formatter. I have already installed it. That's why my code. That's why my VS Code is working with the prettier. Okay, it's not the React internals. It's basically a external plugin. Okay, so here you can see that the text hello users, I just tried inside the code, then you can see the reflection for the hello user. So I think that this is enough theory to show you how to create a React application. And now the point is that any of you have any query related to the ecosystem or installation of a project, or how to run the project like this. So I just want to start the concept of component here. So what is component? Component is basically a function, nothing else. Component is basically a, means whatever you write a function inside your React application, it's a component. You can consider the app is a component. The app is really a component. Means, for an example, this is a div. So if I want to make another div inside it, then what will happen? So hello user is one div. I'm not going to style anything inside the div because it's a time wasting, I think. You can see there are two divs. Okay. So now the concept of component is little bit same. What I can do here, that I can simply cut a div, and underneath the component, I can write my own function. Means suppose I am trying to write the function with ES6 syntax. ES6 is basically the ECMAScript version 6. Suppose the component name is demo. Okay. And this is the syntax for arrow function. I've already said that some sort of JavaScript knowledge you need to start the React application. And the structure for the function will be very simple. It's a function name and it's a const keyword. Const keyword means you cannot modify the function. That is why it's const in simple terms. And this is the component name. and you can consider also it's a function, and it's an arrow function. Arrow function means the syntax is little bit different. Also, the internal details are different from the regular function. Whatever the function, you can see that it's an app, it's also a function, and it's dim, it's also a function. The simple thing, I need to return one like HTML. For now, it's HTML, but it's not basically a HTML, it's JSX. I will come into the JSX portion a little bit later, but first try to understand what is component here. So it's a simple function. What I'm going to do, I just need to delete this particular div from here. So I will write my function name, means demo, in the form of like HTML tag. Means there will be an opening brace, there will be a closing brace, and I'm just ending the HTML tag inline. So you can also write down the div like this way. Means it's a div, then you can close it inline, or you can omit this slash from here. Then also you can close your HTML tag as well. So both are similar. Here also I can write the demo component like this way as well. Means like this way it will also work. Both are similar. But I think that it will be better to use the component like this way. Okay. So let's run it and see what is happening in the screen. Yeah, still hello user is there. So this particular hello user is nothing but a component. What I did, this particular piece of code, which is responsible to show the hello user inside the web page, I can show you with the help of component. So what is the usefulness of using component? Let me tell you the usefulness of using component here. I'm going to use the component 4 times. You can see 4 different hello users are there. The interesting thing is that this particular demo is a presentational component, and I can move this particular function to anywhere in my project. Or suppose if the project is huge and you want to show this particular hello user message in other files as well, then simply what you will do, you will declare the component like this in other files as well. So inside your entire web page, this hello user is basically a component, and you can use this particular piece of design or piece of code in other places as well. Suppose here hello user is there, here hello user you can also print, in right side also print, in bottom also print, you can use hello user. So component is nothing but a block of code, whatever you want to present inside your screen, practically, not theoretically. Practically, we are dealing with the components like, suppose here is a div, here is a card, you can see the card, or suppose inside my screen also you can see this particular stream is available. So this is nothing but a component, and this is a similar component for other users also. I can see the same design, but other user stream is off only. That's why it's look like different. But you can consider this particular example as a component where I just need to create one time and I can loop through the component multiple times. Programming knowledge is very required to work with web development or any sort of software development industry. Okay, so this particular example I just printed 4 times manually. What I can do here, I can loop through these 4 particular, means the same component again and again. So to use a loop, what I will do here, simply, this is a writing technique, means I need to put a brace here. Brace means I can write my executable codes, means that particular code which can actually give some output or give some return value. So here what I can do, okay, let's start with some state logic as well before rendering any component inside a loop. React holds your states as well. Component is nothing but you can consider the presentational portion of a screen which you can design. Also, you can make it functional. Functional means some sort of variable you can declare there, some functions you can declare there, and you can also even interchange the function and the variables to other components as well. This is called component communication. So these are the prerequisite and these are the basic details for the React. In order to loop through this particular component, what you need to do here, you just need to initialize one state variable. State is basically a container or the variable for the specific component. Suppose for an example, the name for state is say state, and I just need to make two different variable here. This particular variable is accessible with the value, and this particular is basically a callback function or the setter function, you can say. A lot of hooks are available in React as well. One of them is useState. useState is a hook which help you to store some variable data inside your application. So for now, I need to initialize with array of 10. Sorry, 45. So this is my state value. So I want to see my state value. What I will do here, I will simply put a console log there, and you can see the changes. For now, I'm deleting the code and simply it's a state. I just need to import the useState here as well. Here you can see, here you can see that I just want to print my state variable inside the application. So what I will do here, I can simply initialize this state, this array inside the useState. Okay, and I don't need it. So I just want to see whether it's available inside the log or not. Okay. When my application will render, then what will happen? First, the app component will execute, and inside the app component, then you can see this particular array I have initialized in my state variable, means my variable. Inside the component, I just need to use some sort of variable in the form of useState. So it will hold my value. What is the special property it contains? It contains that inside the component, you can mutate the value as well. Mutate means you can update the value as well. So before going to update, I just want to show you that how you can loop through some component. Okay. To loop through a component, what you need to do here, it's a state. State means it contains one array. The array contains some numbers. So in JavaScript, this is also required to understand the looping or the iteration concept first. Then you can understand what is actually happening. So map is a method. Method means it's a callback. So callback is also required to understand React, callback, promise. These are the things. And here, what I'm going to do, I just need to loop through my component one after another. Let's say, okay, it will take two arguments. One will be the response, means the values one after another it will come. So I just need to send my component inside the iteration. Fine. And I need to save it. Then you can see 8, the array length is 8 obviously, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 components are there. You can run this code dynamically as well. Means you can print your components dynamically. So here the interesting thing is how you can pass this particular state data or the array data inside the component. It's also very simple. What you need to do here, simply you can pass some props into it. So suppose the prop name is data. This is the name of the prop, and inside the curly brace, that will be a value for it. So res means the value 1, 2, 3, 4. It will come inside the res. And one more important thing is here that key, the concept of key. I will explain you the concept of key just a minute. Let me write it down first. Okay. Here you can see that there is a warning inside the console. The warning means each child need to be used one proper key. Key means this is the concept of virtual DOM key. So whenever you are trying to iterate some property or some DOM element inside the browser, then what will happen? React will internally calculate every individual DOM node internally. So when we want to update any particular DOM node, then internally it will be calculated through React, and the identifiers will be the key. So this particular DOM node needs a key. That will be a identifier for the DOM. So if I save the code and run it again, then you will not see the warning again. See, there is no warning. So only one console log will is there, the state values, and rest of the things are omitted. Now the simple thing, I'm just trying to pass some data in some property, or in short term you can say props into it. So how you can receive it? You need to just simply write props. Props means the property. Whatever the property you are receiving from your parent component. Parent means this is the component where I have declared my demo component. So this is my parent, obviously, and this is my child with respect to demo. So demo is a child component and app is a parent component. Here, if you want to see which kind of prop you are receiving, then you need to log it first. This is the debugging technique. You need to understand how to debug the code. Otherwise, you can't write a proper code. Okay. So here, see, I just sent two properties from there. One is key and one is data. But key is a reserved keyword by React, and key is internally used by the virtual DOM to calculate whether the DOM node is updated or not. It will help to keep a track over the data. And here is your prop data. Couple of times your application rendered, that's why you can see a lot of console logs here. And the iteration will happen for 8 times. So 1 to 9 data you can see, and for each data you can see 2 iterations. 2 iterations means we are using the latest version of React, which is version 18.2.0, and the feature for version 18.2.0 is in the development environment it will run twice, but in production it will run only once. There is a lot of big discussion happen. Big discussion is already there with version 18, why it renders 2 times. A lot of blogs, articles are also there, but this is not a prerequisite for you guys to understand how to write the basic code for it. So here I just here I just show you that how to write a basic code with the components in React. Okay, so just to summarize everything, that this is a component, this is a parent component, this is a child component, and you can basically pass properties into another component like this way. So this was the simple app. Okay, now the Redux and the context API topic need to discuss. So for that, it's a little bit hectic to write all the code in runtime for Redux, because the code is huge. That's why I already created for you guys a sample demo project. With the demo project, you can understand the implementation of Redux. Let me open my demo project. This is the same app. In the same way, I have created this app. Okay, it will take little time to start the application. Okay, here it is. So this is also an app, and this app is little bit structured and well designed, because for the demo I just need to show you little bit of structured app. Okay, let me uncomment this code base and try to understand the concept, then only you can understand the flow of the code. It's a to-do app, to-do application based on React and Redux. So why we will use Redux first? First of all, let me just explain a little bit about the components and what you have already seen inside the previous project. So here, to-do app, this particular thing is a component. This particular input field is a component. These buttons are component, and the button is a single component, and I have just used it multiple times. So these are the reusable components. So here the components are necessary. So the application of the to-do app is very simple. That sample data. For an example, if I want to add some to-do here, then you can see nice little card, which will be your to-do, and you can update the to-do from here as well. Simple card 1, and you can hit enter. It will get updated, and also you can mark the to-do as complete. So if you want to see the completed to-dos, then you can see it. Otherwise, for the active to-dos, you cannot see. For all, you can see this. So this is the simple application. I just created it using the React and Redux. Let's say for an example, hello one will be one to do. Hello 2 will be different to do. Okay, there are two to-dos, and you can also edit them, you can complete them, you can close them. So why Redux is required here? So the important concept of Redux is basically a state management tool. There are two applications available. One is this one, what I have created earlier. One is this one, what I have created now. In both the application, one thing is very common: the concept of components and the data sharing. You can see that this particular hook is basically a use state hook. Use state hook contains the data for your specific component. But assume that you have 10 components. Suppose, for an example, you have 10 components, and 10 components are in a scattered position. So scattered position means you can define the relationship for a component like parent to child, child to parent, or you can define the component like sibling components. Both are siblings. So in case of sibling component, it's not possible to transfer the data via props. Sibling component means it's not written inside the same file. Both are in different files. So how will you pass the data? It's not possible. But you need the data in your sibling component as well. So in that case, what is happening? We are not able to deal with the state logic. Then we need to introduce the logic for central state management system, or you can simply say it a global store. Global store is nothing but a space where you can store your entire variable, and in every component or wherever you want, you can combine your store, and you can get the value from your global store. This is the simple concept of Redux, nothing fancy. So the Redux logic we usually use for our project in a large scale application. When your project is very large, then we will use your Redux concept. Otherwise, we can manage it through Context API as well. So Context API concept is also like similar, but it's different. So it's not an API, obviously. It's a pattern, you can say. The pattern for writing some piece of code. Context says that you can define variables, you can define functions within me, and you don't need to think about the prop drilling. Prop drilling means what? For your previous application, you have seen that you sent some piece of properties into another component. Suppose, let's say demo has another component, demo one, and I need to initialize the demo one component inside the demo component. So the root parent will be app, then the child will be demo, and the demo one will be the child for demo. So if I want to pass the data property inside demo one component, then it will be hectic to send it. Means, for an example, it will be better to show you guys here that suppose it's a demo one component, and it's also same syntax, or I am demo one component. So what I need to do here, also it's not a valid code because we just need to wrap inside a fragment. The concept of fragment is nothing but an empty tag in here. Okay. So this is a fragment. So now you can understand. I have F component, I have demo component, I have demo one component. So demo one is the parent of demo one is demo, and the parent of demo is F. So from here, I'm sending the property to the demo component, and inside the demo component, I again need to send the props like this. Data equals to props. Data equals to props. Then only my demo one component can get the props, otherwise not. So this is called prop drilling. Means I need to drill the prop in every level. So context API solves the problem. How? Context basically says that you need to create one context in a global. Inside the context, you don't need to do anything. Context is basically a store. In short form, it will be a store. Inside the store, you can define a variable and you just need to wrap it through providers. It's a consumer and provider concept. And everything is design pattern in React ecosystem. Whatever you are writing the code, everything is design pattern. The consumer and provider concept is provider will provide the data, consumer will consume the data. Means inside the component, if I want to access that particular variable, then I need to consume it. And inside my context, if I need to provide the data to the components, then I will write provider. This is plain and simple concept, consumer and provider. I will show you a simple example for consumer and provider. Here the code is that I just commented out the code for a while because it's not running for now because we are just showing the demo with the help of Redux. So this is the syntax for creating a context. It's a little bit of high level thing. Context, as I said, that it's basically a container where you need to hold your data, and inside your container you need to provide it through to all the apps or all the components. What you are going to provide? All the values. Let's say these are the state variables or values you need to provide. Then whatever the children are using this particular component, they will get it. They will get it using use context hook. Okay, there is also a hook. So just an overview for the context. Both are doing the same job, little bit of same job, but you can differentiate it. So for large scale of application, we are going to use Redux. For a small scale of application, we will obviously use context API, which can also serve our purpose. So this is the fundamental of Redux and context. So I think that you can understand the concept of Redux, why we use it, and what are the advantages of using it. So for Redux, I can show you the entire application code structure. So as you have already seen, this is a working example using Redux. And nowadays in industry, we are not using Redux specifically. We are using Redux.js toolkit. So what is toolkit here? Toolkit is basically a wrapper over the Redux. In order to use custom Redux, we need to write a lot of boilerplate code to set up the entire project. Toolkit gives us a nice tool where we need to write a minimal amount of code, and the minimal amount of code will run the Redux for you, and it will create your ecosystem. Obviously, there will be a certain guideline by which we need to use it. Everything is documented, well documented here. We obviously read about the document first, then only we can go into the implementation details. So the entire section is there. For every NPM package, more or less you will get all the documents, how they are using their application. Okay, so I just need to show you the code structure for here. And lastly, I will tell you something about the API and little bit of other context. Okay, so API is little bit different thing, and only showing you the fetching the data from the API is not enough to understand what you can do with the API. So better to show you the Redux thing first. So it is the application. Forget about the implementation for motion.h1, motion.h2 and anything. It's basically the package. It's the Power Motion package. And it's basically the part of Emotion.js. So what it will do that at the time of launching the page, it will give you the nice little animation. Okay, nothing else. And whatever the to-do list is there, and the to-do list is basically saved inside the Redux store, not in the state variables. Here the important point is to-dos. This is your component. And display to do's. This is also your component. To do's component means the input bar. So straightforward, we can go to the component folder. Inside the component folder, you can see the to do's. This is the component. And I just already said that this particular input field is basically a component. This input field is component, and inside the component, this button is a child component. So it's a parent and it's a child. Okay. Now, the input component will get the data using this particular synthetic event handler. So this is basically an event handler provided by React. So by using, you will get the value from the input field. There are two types of methodologies available to get the value from the input field or any specific form field. That one is controlled input, one is uncontrolled input. So controlled input and uncontrolled input and the differences and the implementation details you will get inside the topic. Each and every topic is not possible for me to make you understand here. What I can do, I can show you a overview for the application. Here the overview is a little bit advanced. It's a Redux overview. So I think that you guys can understand the concept of component here. I just need to show you the internal implementation details for the Redux. Here the input component field is here, and you can see the button, and the button is already wrapped inside a Farmer Motion JS component. So it's basically a package. So what we are doing here, when we will click over the add or the plus sign of add, then what is happening? This is the function. This function will execute. First, it will check whether my input field is empty or not. If my input field is empty, then it will show you this particular nice pretty alert. Input field is empty. Otherwise, what it will do, it will add the data to the global store for you inside the Redux. So what is the methodology here? This will be a function, and the function will be called through dispatch to props method. Nowadays, I just write down the dispatch to prop methods, dispatch to props, just because of to understand you the connect method. The connect is basically a higher order component or higher order method. In JavaScript, these are the keywords. You can keep a note and you can study further the higher order component, higher order functions, or you can also consider callback, promise, async and await, iteration technique for JavaScript like map, for each, filter, and all that. So I think that you can't understand the entire implementation details for the Redux, but I'm just showing you. Later I will recap you the exact logic for the Redux, how the Redux actually works. So here is the Redux folder. Inside the folder, there is the first step called store. Store is nothing but a space or the area where you want to store your data. Here the concept of reducers are there. Reducers are pure function in JavaScript. Reducers are basically pure function. So what is pure function? You can also keep a note and can search over the internet. You will get the definition of pure function. So inside the reducer, the actual implementation details is here. Reducer, this create slice method is also provided by toolkit. Otherwise, we need to write a lot of boilerplate code to initialize a reducer and action creator and all that. So here at to-dos method, you can see it is doing nothing. It is just pushing the data into the array, and the array is the initial state, and the to-do data will be here. And with the same approach, you can remove the data as well as update the data, or you can also click over the comment, complete the data, complete to-dos. Here the implementation details that when I click over the edit thing, then it will convert it to a edited field. Second one, and if I click outside, then it will get updated. Again, if I click over edit and click outside, it will get updated. This is the feature, nice little advanced feature to interact with the web page. Here also, I just want to fast to do. And click outside, it will get updated. Okay. So edit, create, update, and delete, all are there. Basically, it's a CRUD. Not an API CRUD, but a React CRUD application. So basic concept of Redux, I'm just going to give you the basic fundamental of Redux again. That Redux is basically a global store. You can consider it like a global store. The store will hold your data based on your requirement, and whenever you want your data, you just need to connect your store with the component. Then only you will get it. So first, from your component, when you do some action to store the data inside the Redux, what will happen? First, your action will go to the reducer. Reducers are pure function. It will execute your function or your calculation, whatever you want. Then it will update the variable present inside the reducer. And the reducer is connected with the store. Store is basically the area where all the data will get stored, and it is responsible to connect with each and every component. Where you want your data, you can get it from store easily. This is the plain and simple concept for using Redux in your application. Lot of methods are there, lot of implementation details are there. You just need to understand the basic concept, and based on that concept, you can implement your Redux implementation with your real life project. I think that it's the basic concept, and it's enough to start a new project. I am nearly end for this webinar. So still, if you have any question, then you can ask me. Okay, sir, it is necessary to name the HTML file as index.html always, or it's just a trend? Basically, it's a trend, nothing but a trend, you can say that. But index, the meaning of index.html is nothing but an entry point for the application. Okay. So the React application will internally hit the index.html, or whenever you will host any site to the server, then it will hit the index file first. So by convention, it's index.html. If you want to change it, then you can. But for this, you need to write down the Webpack configuration. Means the Webpack also know where to trigger the HTML file. By default is index.html. Okay.
Deju sir,
Yeah.
can you make me host? Then I can share something.
Okay, sure. Just a minute. So I think that you can understand the entire concept for the React Redux and Context API. So some last point I was going to tell you about the React ecosystem and React implementation, which is the API part. I haven't started the API part in this webinar, so I just need to show you, not actually show you, just need to tell you that how you can make the API calls and all that using React and Redux. So Redux is not the mandatory part for a React application. It's just a tool. Based on your requirement, you can use the tool. Otherwise, you don't need to use it. Because you have already seen that in our first application, we haven't used the Redux one. We just use the React application. And later, if your application get bigger and bigger, and if it is complex state management system is there, or complex data management technique was there, then you need to install the Redux. And using Redux, simply you will manage your state variables or state data globally, and you will get it internally with the help of the connect method, and obviously you can connect with your components. Now the important portion in the entire application is the API portion. So the API is important, and why I skip this one, because first you need to understand the implementation details for API, then only you can understand how you can use it. API is application programming interface. You can search it on Google. It's nothing fancy. The main purpose for using API is whenever you want some data from a server, whatever the data you want from server, it's basically one API. You can consider any website, by sending any request, you are receiving some output from the server. That particular communication happens through API. It's basically an endpoint hosted inside a server, and when you will hit that endpoint, a piece of code will execute, and that particular code will fetch some data from the database and will give it to you. This is the main fundamental concept of API. It has a lot of category. So now in our generation, we belongs to the category for the REST API. Previously, the category was SOAP API. SOAP means XML data, means you can transfer through network the XML file. And what is XML? You can search on Google. Now, the next portion came the RPC model. The RPC means remote procedure call. But the RPC model is very hectic to manage by the developers or the team of developers. That's why RPC model is not actually used by these days, but it was secure. Nowadays, REST came into the picture. REST means nothing but a representational state transfer. REST means representational state transfer means whatever the data you need from the server, you just need to make a request and the data will come into your place. Obviously, some security measures are there. In order to make one API secure, you can combine with a lot of headers, a lot of authentication and authorization technique. But generally, you can also see fake APIs are also there. Hitting an endpoint, you will get the data. This is API. If you want to use API in your application, then just visit JSON placeholder website, JSON placeholder. It will give you some fake API with which you can deal with some data, and that particular data you can render in your React application. This will be a POC project in college life. I think it will be a great idea to start with POC project. Okay. So I think that I'm done from my end. I have nothing to say extra. I hope you guys can understand the bare minimum concept of React. I'm not pushing you that you need to understand the Redux concept, but bare minimum concept, if you can understand that, then it will be an achievement for me. Investing 2 hours of time, that you just need to understand little bit of thing from here. Then you can search on Google, you can see some courses over the YouTube, and you can also search over the Udemy as well if you wish, and just start a POC project over the React and Redux. Okay. Thank you guys.